Listen, my name is Emma, and I've witnessed the passage of 45 years in this world. One might wonder how a young woman of my age finds herself living with her uncle, particularly after I reveal the story that is to come. Indeed, I must admit, I also did not anticipate this event coming to pass. In the world of graphic design, I am captivated dedicating my time to the craft of creating beautiful designs and exploring freelance opportunities. Since that fateful day when my ancestors chose to part ways, the journey of life has been filled with trials most challenging. In my travels across distant lands, I searched with a passionate spirit for a hint of stability. Ultimately, I found myself residing in the home of my uncle Ezekiel. Indeed, it was not a piece of my own creation, that much is evident. Join my channel so you can delight in even more extraordinary stories of truth like this remarkable tale. Do not overlook the entirety of this tale and grant it a token of your approval. For this narrative truly captivates the soul in the most profound way. Kindly offer a sign of endorsement to express your backing. Thus began my journey as my mother, in pursuit of her work, left our home leaving me to seek shelter while I endeavoured to finish my studies. My uncle was the sole relative gifted with the ability to provide assistance. He has been united in holy matrimony with his cherished wife Charlotte for many years now. In a realm both just and enchanting they reside. To a home I have travelled, nestled within the serene arms of the countryside, distant from the noise and chaos of city life. I believed it would merely act as a brief respite to a serene refuge. Behold, the unfolding of events did not correspond with my expectations. As the moons waxed and waned, I became quite familiar with the rhythm of my days and the tranquil embrace of my environment, or so I believed in my thoughts. On a fateful day, an event unfolded a story I feel compelled to share with you. Behold, the story began the moment I stepped into Ezekiel's chamber, finding him deep in a profound slumber. Before we begin this story, I urge you to subscribe to the channel so you won't miss a single moment of the narrative's unfolding. Allow me to share some thoughts on Ezekiel. He was a figure distinctly different from the ordinary uncles that populate my life. In his youthful days, he seemed more a beacon of wisdom than a mere relation by blood. He taught me the art of cycling, shared the skill to tend to the household's needs, and even gifted me my first chariot. On my 18th birthday, when my mother sought a guardian to lead me onward, Ezekiel emerged as the clearest choice. He possesses a heart that is kind with an understanding as deep as the ocean's embrace, and a generosity that overflows like a bounteous spring. Yet it was not solely he with whom I embarked on this journey, but also his fair consort by his side. Charlotte had long adorned the scene with her presence. 2 years later, they entered into matrimony, and from the beginning I held my doubts about her. She seemed to eclipse Ezekiel, and there was an unsettling quality to that which caught my attention. She truly made me feel like an outsider in their home. At first, I sought solace in the guest chamber, tucked away at the far end of the house, endeavouring to impose no weight upon those around me. As time passed, the discomfort faded, and fair Charlotte began to share her knowledge of cooking, the organisation of the home, and various household matters. While we may not have been the closest of friends, the atmosphere between us was undeniably more tranquil than in days gone by. I clung to the hope that the wheel of fortune would spin in favour of brighter days. Recently, my eyes have witnessed a situation that eludes my understanding. The more time I spent in Ezekiel's presence, the stronger my longing grew. His smiles, those fleeting touches, the soft hand, and the way he would look at me when he believed my gaze was turned away felt most peculiar. Behold, I discovered that I could not relinquish it. A palpable tension grew between us, an undeniable force that commanded the attention of everyone who witnessed it. My dear Emma, I see that you are troubled, and I can sense the burden that weighs heavily on your mind. Pray enlighten me on what you mean by asserting that he is indeed your uncle. It seems quite unbelievable. Yet this bond was undeniably genuine. I endeavoured to convince. Indeed, it was nothing more than a fleeting thought crafted within the confines of my imagination. Yet when we found ourselves in solitude, the air hummed with a vibrant energy, as if some hidden power beckoned us closer still. Herein rests the essence of the issue. Events indeed took a most curious turn. On an evening after the meal had been finished, I found myself thoroughly engrossed in an endeavour within the walls of my room. In the vastness of this corridor, footsteps echoed a haunting melody of existence and movement. Ezekiel, caught in the gentle grip of sleep, had traversed the landscapes of dreams for what felt like an eternity, while the lovely Charlotte delighted in the cheerful company of her joyful friends. We found ourselves wrapped in the arms of solitude. Initially, it seemed trivial, but before long I perceived the soft creak of his chamber door as it slowly opened. In that fleeting moment, I found myself at a crossroads, caught between the decision to let him be or to inquire about his state of being. Yet there was a quiet allure that captivated my very essence. With great caution, I unlatched the door, doing my best to ensure he remained undisturbed. He lay back, one arm propped behind his dignified head, immersed in the soft embrace of contemplation. He appeared to be entirely at peace. As he rested in the soft embrace of sleep, the delicate light streaming through the window cast a tapestry of shadows across his face, making him appear almost otherworldly. I lingered for just a brief moment, my heart a storm of passion. My cheeks flushed and my heart raced with fervent haste. Never before had I witnessed such a magnificent sight. Perhaps I simply longed to see his face. Perhaps it was a question of deeper significance. My heart was filled with uncertainty. Behold, my flow of thoughts was suddenly disrupted. By mere happenstance, I did dislodge a vase that rested close to his sleeping figure, and the ensuing clamour stirred Ezekiel from his slumber. His eyes widened in surprise, and for the briefest moment our gazes intertwined. Upon their faces rested the signs of complete confusion. His eyes fluttered 3 times, attempting to lock their gaze onto mine. Then he released a tired chuckle and asked, "What do you hear?" His voice carried the soft burden of slumber's tender embrace. My heart raced as I grappled with the search for the most beautiful words. While I desired to avoid the appearance of interference, I encountered a struggle in articulating the reflections of my thoughts. My lips longed for the tender caress of moisture. It was never my intention to bring you any trouble." A wave of unease washed over my soul. Ezekiel, with a slow and weary grace, raised his hands, embarking on the gentle task of soothing his tired eyes. He bestowed upon me a smile gentle and familiar, which he always wore with grace. On this day, however, a rare glimmer sparkled in his eyes, a sight that made my heart flutter with a delightful unease. He bestowed upon me a brief look before he spoke once more. "All is well," he murmured gently. "My dear Emma, you must understand that I am not a reliable support upon which you can always depend. In moments of necessity, I am prepared to extend my assistance." I nodded in agreement, yet my mind whirled in a chaotic frenzy. Indeed, I found myself overwhelmed by a most unusual sensation, casting me into uncertainty about how to traverse its complexities. The atmosphere in this chamber thickened, and my breaths quickened with urgency. I long for the most agreeable discourse. Ezekiel's expression dimmed just slightly, and I caught a brief glimmer of uncertainty in his eyes before it vanished. He then vanished, conjuring the void that lingered beside him on the couch of rest. "He comes here to you. I remain always prepared to offer my ear," he said with a gentle smile, illuminating his face. In a brief instant, I lingered, filled with uncertainty and deep thought. Yet an invisible force propelled me onward, driving my footsteps with relentless urgency. I settled into my spot next to him. The atmosphere between us buzzed with an intensity that eclipsed everything that had come before. The soft warmth of his body melded with mine, his scent hanging in the atmosphere like a delicate poem. We were so close that I could perceive the soft cadence of his breath and sense the rise and fall of his chest with every delicate inhalation. My heart quickened once more, each beat unfolding in a slow, graceful rhythm of time. My eyes were lifted towards him. Our faces drew so close that I could feel his warmth surrounding me. His eyes held a gentle softness, tinged with a trace of uncertainty, yet within them flickered an undeniable spark that sent a shiver across my skin. "Fair Emma, do you find yourself in good spirits?" Ezekiel inquired with a soft elegance. Before I could speak, I approached swiftly. My heart raced and I struggled to catch my breath. Words escaped me, yet a vibrant energy filled the air, as if the atmosphere itself was alive with a lively hum. Ezekiel lingered, his gaze locked onto mine, revealing a depth that was truly profound. In the quietude that enveloped us, his breath quickened, mirroring my own in a delicate dance. The air in the chamber became noticeably more temperate. The stillness around us became increasingly oppressive, as each unspoken thought hung heavily in the air. My thoughts swirled in a tumultuous manner. This hour marks the pinnacle of all that has unfolded until now. My passions could no longer be contained. I found my lips trembling, caught in a moment of daydreaming. They forged a connection with his. Initially, a sense of unease gripped my heart as confidence slipped through my fingers. Yet, when his lips brushed against mine in a tender caress, I discovered myself captivated, unable to pull away from that delightful embrace. My thoughts urged me to stop, yet my body stubbornly ignored their plea. This was of the highest importance to me. This is what I have longed for. Ezekiel's hand gently cupped my cheek, pulling me nearer to his comforting embrace. His other hand lay close beside him. His gentle touch graced my skin, and I felt warmth radiating like the sun's embrace. The kiss deepened, and soon I could no longer tell where his lips ended and mine began. Everything else slipped away into the dim shroud of forgetfulness. It was just the two of us, intertwined in this most undeniable connection. My thoughts swirled in a storm of confusion and guilt, yet an unusual feeling lingered that perhaps this was how fate had intended it all along. What endeavors did we partake in? What imbues it with such a deep sense of importance? A sensation so deep it eluded the grasp of language to express its true nature. He reclined with a gentle elegance, his brow softly connecting with mine in a tender embrace. We stood there breathless, our chests rising and falling under the strain of our efforts. With each delicate and unhurried breath, I felt his pulse against my skin, resonating with the rhythm of my own heart. "Oh, Emma," his voice carried a profound weight infused with a quiet passion that truly moved the heart. "Nay, we should not," he declared. Yet I discovered my own heart troubled with uncertainty in the face of that very promise. Indeed, I did concur. An overwhelming force surged within me, compelling me to continue on my path. Gently, I reached out, intertwining my fingers with his in a delicate embrace. He lingered close by. Instead, his fingers intertwined with mine, gripping with equal intensity. As I clung to him, our eyes wove a tapestry of connection. For what felt like an eternity, we remained in that silence, stripped of words. The burden of it all lingered in the space that separated us, all that remains between us. Shall we proceed? Can we heed the call of nature within our grasp? With a tender grip, I took hold of the nape of his neck and drew him nearer to my chest. Once again, I pressed my lips to his in a tender embrace. This moment, liberated from doubt and trepidation, is saturated with an overwhelming desire to approach him, to revel in the glow of his essence. Ezekiel's hand glided upon my back, pulling me ever tighter still. The merging of our beings ignited an all-encompassing passion. Yet I found myself enveloped in a fog of uncertainty about the path this venture is taking. Indeed, it held no burden upon my soul. In that ephemeral instant, I longed to remain with nothing but our two souls present. My heart raced within my chest. His lips gently grazed my neck, offering soft kisses that caressed my skin. His breath brushed against mine, igniting a tremor in my ear, swift as lightning racing down my spine. It was an experience most unique, unlike any I had ever witnessed. Undoubtedly powerful and impressive, yet intriguingly off-kilter in a way that I found challenging to articulate. "Are you truly certain about this matter?" he murmured gently against my skin, his voice heavy with deep longing. My heart does not wish to cause you any sorrow. With my eyes shut, I struggled to uncover my own voice. Every fibre of my being begged for relief, yearning to turn away from this journey. Yet I discovered myself utterly unable to acquiesce. The longing consumed the spirit. The burden of its necessity struck deep within my soul. I chose to avoid the contemplation and examination of anything. All I longed for was to reside in his presence truly. With soft murmurs, my fingers glided over his noble chest, feeling the warmth of his skin beneath my gentle touch. My heart longs for this Ezekiel. My heart longs for you. Once more his lips sought the gentle union of mine, and behold, this kiss was profound and filled with an urgent passion. No path remains for me to retrace my steps from this point onward. Within these confines, nothing else held significance or purpose. What truly mattered was the path taken. He awakened within me a profound sense of longing, making my spirit shine brighter than ever before. The chamber felt as though it was tightening around us, as if the walls themselves were plotting to pull us closer into their fold. The lights that once illuminated our presence faded, deepening the sacred bond that lay between us. Every tender touch, every passionate kiss carried the weight of a promise for a deeper bond, a connection we both sensed but could not entirely grasp even as our hearts longed to reveal it. His heart beat in harmony with mine, creating a melody that was both unwavering and comforting to the spirit. Although a stubborn remnant within me clings to the shadows of denial, a greater part has surrendered entirely to the tide of fate. It has surpassed the limits of what it once was, just soft kisses. It was a bond most inexplicable, a connection profound that deceived my ability to express. Expressions. This yearning has resided in my heart for countless ages. Ezekiel's breath caressed my lips, soft and enticing. With great effort, I sought to understand his words, while my hands explored his body, tracing the noble lines of his muscles beneath the soft layer of his skin, feeling the warmth of his presence and the delicate responses to my touch. At this moment, there was no way to turn back. A powerful bond existed between us, drawing our souls ever closer in a sweet embrace. We could not have anticipated that time would stand still in that moment as we became entwined in one another's essence, the gentle cadence of our kisses, the passion of our embrace. Indeed, in that instant, everything appeared to be remarkably in order. In the stillness of the chamber, we transcended the bounds of our tainted lineage. We were merely two souls intertwined in a connection that transcended everything I had experienced prior. The atmosphere between Ezekiel and me was charged with an unmistakable tension. Neither of us stirred nor uttered a single word. Behold, the serene silence was shattered by the sorrowful creak of the front door, which slowly opened below. We stood like statues, frozen in the stillness of the moment. My heart raced with fervent urgency as I quickly put distance between myself and Ezekiel, a storm of dread surging through my chest. What act have we accomplished this day? What unfolds between us? A wave of regret enveloped my heart. In the theatre of my thoughts, a storm surged forth, powerful and all-consuming. Yet beneath the chaos, a delicate essence lingered, hinting at unvoiced truths. Amidst the chaos, I discovered myself trapped by the burden of recent happenings and the reality that we were entwined in a web that was incredibly difficult to escape. Ezekiel lingered in silence for a brief moment. His gaze remained fixed upon me, yet the expression he wore eluded my understanding. The warmth lingered between us, that closeness which remained unbroken. O Emma, radiant and resplendent, thou dost gleam like the dawn's first light. He murmured, his voice strained, before he dared to speak further. Then footsteps echoed from yonder heights, their strides resonating through the air. Ezekiel heard a voice resonating in the air. It struck me with remarkable speed, and my heart sank deep within my chest. Indeed, it was Charlotte. From my slumber I leapt my breath, a tempest swift and shallow. Truly I discovered myself completely devoid of guidance, lost in a vast ocean of doubt. My thoughts swirled in the grip of a tempest, yet I found no way to escape. Should I truly seek her out after all that has transpired between us? The portal to Ezekiel's chamber creaked softly as it opened slightly. There she stood, the lovely Charlotte caught in the gentle embrace of the threshold. A look of wonder adorned her face, as though the heavens themselves had conspired to reveal a marvel right before her eyes. Her eyes flitted between Ezekiel and me, a clear sign of her confusion. Emma, her brow furrowed in discontent, cast a discerning gaze upon the realm that lay before her. "Good Sir Ezekiel, what do you perceive at this moment?" Her voice trembled, yet a quiet intuition lingered, an instinct that softly urged her to sense that all was not as it ought to be. My face became pale as if all colour had vanished from its surface. Charlotte's presence was like a refreshing gust of icy waters stirring the senses with vibrant joy. In that ephemeral instant, everything seemed strikingly out of place. It was a challenging endeavour to articulate a riddle, and quite bewildering to comprehend the events that had recently unfolded between Ezekiel and me. My throat constricted as I grappled with the words that fluttered on my tongue, longing to be set free. In a fleeting moment of uncertainty, I discovered I was adrift. As he contemplated the most fitting response, Ezekiel perched on the edge of the bed, feeling as if both he and the bed were adrift on a tumultuous sea, aimless and disoriented. He rubbed the nape of his neck, a clear sign of his discomfort and uncertainty, as he sought the right words to explain the situation. Charlotte's gaze shifted from him to me, and an unspoken connection lingered in the air between us. In that ephemeral instant, it felt as though everything was created afresh. Charlotte sensed a change in the atmosphere, a subtle hint of occurrences that were not meant to transpire. Yet, rather than displaying anger or dissatisfaction, her gaze reflected a profound and unsettling sadness. As she stepped into the chamber, she gently shut the door that stood behind her. She stood behind her, and behold, her presence was so powerful that the entire chamber fell into silence, much like the stillness that comes before a storm's fury. "Emma, you must grasp a truth of significant importance," Charlotte gently proclaimed, her voice carrying an unexpected tenderness. "There exists a profound complexity to this issue, a reality that eludes both you and your companion." My eyes caught sight of her, and within my mind a tempest of confusion swirled fiercely. What intention did she strive to reveal? What additional marvels awaited beyond the horizon? The silence lingered like a thick veil long after fair Charlotte had departed. Her words lingered amidst the chaotic clash. Her calm insight and willingness to help sparked a glimmer of hope I had not anticipated. Fair Charlotte in her grace harboured no resentment. She kept us all within her embrace. Instead, she granted us a moment, a brief vision that quivered and wavered, yet indeed it was there. In a momentary gaze, I caught sight of Ezekiel. His face was a canvas painted with threads of regret and doubt, alongside a fleeting feeling that eluded my understanding. He averted my gaze, his hands caught in a restless dance of discomfort. Upon my heart, I sensed the burden he carried from the fateful events that had unfolded, how our destinies intertwined in an unexpected way. As I pondered and contemplated, the deeper I delved into the subject, the clearer it became that none of this was intricately stitched into the tapestry of any human's creation. Events unfolded beyond our understanding as destiny intended. In my mind, there was only one undeniable truth. We found it impossible to simply dismiss it or pretend that nothing had occurred. Indeed, Charlotte was undoubtedly correct about that issue. All these bewildering emotions, all matters, required a daring confrontation and a prompt conclusion. I whispered, my voice trembling ever so slightly. "What steps shall we take next?" Ezekiel looked at me, his eyes brimming with a myriad of emotions. "Alas, my dear Emma, I am enveloped in a fog of uncertainty. My heart wavers, ensnared in a storm of uncertain emotions and reflections. Indeed, I find myself enveloped in a shroud of uncertainty. Is it just and proper that I should nurture feelings of anger, shame, or any emotion that stirs within my heart?" His voice faltered, revealing the storm that churned within his heart. He discovered himself caught in the intricate tapestry of feelings we had woven together, even as he remained tethered by the solemn promises made to his cherished wife Charlotte. This issue, unfortunately, could not be resolved in just one conversation. It was not as straightforward as that, I must assert. He inhaled deeply and moved forward with deliberate elegance. My heart longed to offer him a hand of comfort. Still, I found myself contemplating whether that was indeed the right course to follow. Indeed, I found myself in a dilemma, unsure of the direction that awaited me, not for a single instant longer. With a heart heavy with doubt, I whispered softly, "I fear we cannot resolve all issues in this brief moment. Yet I believe it is of the highest importance that we sincerely speak with honesty and engage in truly authentic conversation. This issue carries a depth that cannot simply be dismissed as a mere passing shadow." Ezekiel nodded thoughtfully, his expression grave yet devoid of anger. "Indeed, I am aware, and indeed I find myself at a loss, unsure where to begin this endeavor." I grasped his hand, sensing a mixture of solace and a subtle tension from the unspoken words that swirled around us. We begin by acknowledging the events that have transpired, the feelings that have stirred within us, and the emotions that linger as we determine our path forward. He nodded. Once again his expression softened, if only slightly. "It will not be a simple endeavor, dear Emma, yet I long to possess it. In my pursuit of knowledge, I long to decipher the complex interplay that occurs between our souls." I intertwined my fingers with his. A warmth resided within, as if unspoken feelings lingered between our souls. Alas, Ezekiel, I am left without any answers to offer. Even though the road ahead is cloaked in uncertainty, I will not flee from this situation, not for a single instant longer. We lingered in silence, if only for a brief moment, each caught in our own thoughts, attempting to unravel the intricate weave of events that had unfolded. The road ahead was cloaked in enigma, with the realities remaining elusive. The storm of feelings, the veiled doubt, was a weighty load to carry and contemplate. What fare Charlotte offered us shone like a radiant beacon of hope, a chance to confront our trials together and navigate the tumult that surrounded us. Once again, I turned my gaze to Ezekiel, and for the first time I sensed that whatever lay ahead, we would confront the dawn with sincere resolve. A flawless solution eluded our grasp, and no straightforward route to liberation stretched out ahead, yet a subtle glimmer of hope remained. Longing for the return of clarity, and perhaps something even greater, I lay back as my thoughts swirled with endless possibilities. I found myself deeply reflecting on Charlotte and her words. Her calm demeanor and profound wisdom unveiled a path I had not realized was there. She neither cast us aside nor burdened us with her scornful words. Rather, she bestowed upon us the freedom to reflect and comprehend the events that had transpired. What do you think will happen next? What marvels might emerge? Should we unveil the profound depths of our enduring feelings? Shall we move forward, or shall we remain ensnared in uncertainty? Is it not a heavy load upon the heart? Those inquiries might patiently await a more suitable moment. At this very moment, it was just Ezekiel and me nestled in the tranquil embrace we both held dear. The obscurity of a veil of uncertainty shrouds the truth. We both recognized that nothing would ever return to its previous condition. Our only option was to forge ahead, facing whatever challenges might arise, and to navigate through them as a united group.